mistake the quiet for we. There are rivers underground that never stay, moving through the darkness, moving through the storm, carrying the ancient water on their own. The ones who shout the loudest often carry less than the silent elder walking through distress, with nothing but his knowing and his eases, and a heart that has outlasted all its fears. Still water running deep beneath the ground. Truth does not always come with the loudest sound. The humble and the steady find the way.
Still water running deeper every day.
The Babylon rewards the ones who cushion crime, who trade their soul for sure and their peace for time. But the kingdom of the Most High is not sold. It is given to the gentle and the bold. Not bold with sword, not bold with pride of face, but bold enough to stand inside the grace of knowing who you are and why you came, and walking through the fire all the same. Still water running deep beneath the ground. Truth does not always come with a loud sound. The humble and the steady find a way.
Still water running
Deeper every day. Deep water, no disorder, still moving across every border. Jack current cannot falter. Still water upon the altar. Give me the company of those who know the cost, who have stood at the edge and understood what's lost, who came back from the wilderness with something new, a stillness that no Babylon can undo. For these are the ones who carry Zion near, not in their words alone, but in the atmosphere. The still water rising in their eyes, reflecting back the kingdom and the sky. Still water, find the lower place. Still water, running full of grace, from the mountain to the valley to the sea. Still water is what Jah made in me.
every generation walks the long road back, carrying the memory of what Babylon stole and cracked. But the feet remember even when the mind forgets the direction of the sunrise, the direction of the dead. Not the death of shame, not the death of fear, but the death of gratitude for those who brought us here. Through the meadow passage, through the burning field, through every wound that time alone could heal. This is the long walk home. when the way is unclear. The long walk home begins right here. Begins right here. The children ask the elders what the suffering was for, and the elders close their eyes and look for something more. Then simple answers, then comfortable lies. They find the truth somewhere behind their eyes. And speak it soft the way that fire speaks, not in explosion but in warmth that seeks to hold the ones who gather round the flame and remind them all they came from something great. This is the long walk home, through every desert we have ever known. Jah lights the path when the way is unclear. The long walk home begins right here. Long walk home begins right here. Long road, still walking. Ancestors still talking. Come back, never lacking. Forward, no turning back. Do not be ashamed of how far you still must go. The distance is a measure of how much you've come to know. Every mile of struggle is a page of living text, and what you learn today prepares you for what's next. So walk with your head lifted to the sky. Give thanks for every reason, give thanks for every ride. A long walk home is holy ground beneath your feet, and every step you take makes Zion incomplete until you arrive, until you cross the door, until the long walk home has nothing more. Walk on, your people, walk on through the night. The long walk home ends only in the light.
He went out every morning before the color returned to things. When the water and the sky were still deciding where one ended and the other began, and the boat moved through the argument like a question.
He did not name the sea, did not call it generous or cruel, did not keep a record of what it gave or a grievance for what it took.
His grandfather had drowned in this same water, and he still came back the following morning, not from forgetting, not from the absence of fear, but from something that had no word in any language.
The sea had taken and the sea had given, and the accounting was not his to balance. He was simply one of the ones who went out and one of the ones who came back so far.
The ones who name the sea think they own something, think the naming is a kind of fence, but the sea has never learned this is its only defense against the ones who come with their intentions, their gratitude, their anger, and their maps. The sea receives them all without distinction and returns them, or does not, perhaps.
He pulled his nets in silence, read the water the way the water wanted to be read, not as a text with a lesson at the ending, but as a thing that simply was and said nothing and everything and nothing again. And he went home with whatever he was given and ate it slowly and was grateful in the way that only the unnamed things are living. Ooh, yeah, in the driest season, when the earth is cracked, when the promise feels like something that was never fact, when the prayer goes up and seems to find no ear, that is the moment Jah is drawing near. For the dust was never just the dust alone, it carries memory of water in its bones. Every parched and cracking landscape knows that somewhere underneath the river flows. Dust becomes a river by Jah. Water finds its way through the heart Jah sun. Under Jah sun.
No lawyer held the will in a mahogany office. No document was stamped and witness clean. The inheritance arrived without announcement in the space between what was and what would mean something to the ones who came after. It arrived in the callous and the posture. In the specific way you're laughing at the difficult. In the refusal to be smaller than a culture.
Try to make them in the getting up, in the particular grace of the getting up, which is not the same as never falling, but something harder, something less discussed.
The grandmother did not know she was bequeathing. Thought she was just cooking, just surviving, just doing what the morning asked of her. Before the morning finished, it's arriving.
But the child watching from the kitchen doorway was receiving without knowing it was given the entire curriculum of how to live inside a world that would prefer you weren't living so well, so full, so undiminished by everything it sent to make you less. The inheritance was in the watching of someone meet the morning nonetheless.
The inheritance, nobody filed for lives in the bone before it lives in the knowing. In the way Jah moves through a people, in the direction they're always growing.
Lord, even in the wrong season, even in the concrete, even in the lag,
The inheritance, nobody filed for,
is the thing that keeps bringing you back.
in the hills of Ethiopia it was land, particular rate and what it meant to stand on ground that never changed its name, to belong to a place that never been.
Its identity around the conqueror's convenience, and this too is an inheritance. The memory of what it felt like to be rooted before the uprooting, before the long distance between the foot and the earth that made it became the condition and not the wound. The inheritance is in the reaching back and in the Zion that will be reclaimed soon.
So claim what was left without a signature. The laughter rising, the drum, the knowing, the undefeated morning of your people, the direction they were always going.
Toward Jah, toward the light, toward the completion of the sentence that the crossing tried to end.
The inheritance, nobody filed for,
Is yours, was always yours around the bend. Around the bend. Of every year that tried to make you forget, it is waiting with the patience of the promise. The inheritance nobody filed for is the most valuable thing you have ever owned. No vanity in the upward reaching, no ambition in the green unfolding. because the corn must grow. Because the agreement with the sun is old and holding. Since before the first hand cleared the ground and pressed the kernel into the dark, the corn was already practicing its rise, and the sky was already marking where to park. The light, the warmth, the particular angle of afternoon that the corn prefers. The relationship between the seed and season needs no witness and no go-betweens, no intermediaries. Babylon grew its towers to be seen, each floor a declaration of arrival. But the corn in the yard of the Rasta woman grows only in the business of survival. Not survival as the fearful understand it, crouching, hoarding, building walls of more, but survival as the seed understands it, opening, ascending, going toward the thing it was created to become. Without apology, without permission, the corn does not consult the architecture of the city before making its decision. Corn does not grow to impress the sky, does not measure its own height or ask the why of growing. Just grows, just reaches, just becomes. Corn does not grow to impress, it grows for Jah and none. And in Ethiopia, the highland corn has been growing since before the written word has led the generation of the covenant, and asked for nothing back except to be heard. In the grinding, in the cooking, in the sharing, at the table where the hungry find their place, the corn competes its only real ambition to become the nourishment to feed the face of the child who will grow and feed another. The circle that the corn has always known, that the purpose of the rising is the giving, and the giving is the only way it's grown. So grow without the need for the applause, reach upward not for recognition but because Jah placed the rising in you like the corn. Before the sky was watching, before you were born into the system with its measuring and ranking, into Babylon with its certificates of height. Grow the way the corn grows in the yard, quietly, faithfully toward the light.
Nothing great was ever built in a single day. Every wall was laid one stone upon the way. The cathedral took 100 years of hands that never saw the phoenix spire stand, but they laid their stone and trusted those to come to carry on the work beneath the sun. This is how the kingdom of the righteous grows, stone upon stone, as every builder knows. Stone upon stone, generation laying, each one on the foundation of the praying. Ones who came before and cleared the ground. Stone upon stone, the holy work goes realize the smallness of your part. The single stone laid faithfully with heart is just as holy as the cornerstone. No righteous labor ever stands alone. For the one who makes the mortar in the heat is joined forever with the ones who set the seat of the highest arch upon the finished wall. Stone upon stone, Jah remembers all. Stone upon stone, generation laying, each one on the foundation of the praying. Ones who came before and cleared the ground. Stone upon stone, the holy work goes round. The hard work goes round, yeah. Stone on stone, never alone. Every end Jah has known. Layer rising, Jah devising, kingdom building, never tiring. Teach the children how to lay their stone with care, how to find the level out to read the square. Not just in the building of the physical wall, but in the building of the life that stands through all. For the life we live is also stone on stone. Every faithful day a brick upon the throne of something larger than the single self. A kingdom built for everyone, not just yourself. Stone upon stone, we are building still. From the valley floor up to the holy hill. Every generation has its course, guided by the same eternal source. Lay your stone and trust the ones behind. They will find the vision that you left behind in the faithful laying of your humble part. Stone upon stone, Jah is the architect of the heart. Pull up a chair, there is room for everyone. We are all children walking under the same sun. No matter where you come from, no matter what you've done, love is the only race that's ever worth being won. The music is playing and the food is on the fire. The whole community is lifting something higher. Laughter in the yard and the children running free. This is what Jah always meant for us to be. One table, one sun, one love, holding on from the rising of the moon to the breaking of the dawn. Come as you are, leave your burden at the door. One table, one sun, there is always room for more. The neighbor from across the way brought something sweet. The elder brought his wisdom and his dancing feet. The young ones brought their energy in your beverage, the sun. And they better everybody here, this is where dance up belong. Yourself look to dance and give thanks for the way. For the rains that hold you, they listen, the night on the way. For the sun that never charges for its light. For the love that keeps on burning through the night. One table under heaven, one fire burning bright. One people in the morning and one people in the night. One love that never wavers, one truth that never bends. One table, one sun, and the good vibes never end. And the good vibes never end. Feel the good vibration in the air. Jah love is everywhere. Every smile a little prayer. One love we share. Let the rhythm move you, let the harmony ring. Let every voice contribute what it has to bring. The bass line is the heartbeat and the melody the soul. And together every part of us is making something new. So lift your cup and give thanks for the day. For the hands that planted every seed along the way. For the sun that never charges for its light. For the love that keeps on burning through the night. One table under heaven, one fire burning bright. One people in the morning and one people in the night. One love that never wavers, one truth that never bends. One table, one sun, and the good vibes never end. Yeah, no blue fire, yeah.
Oh, na 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 na. She measured nothing, not from carelessness, but from a different precision.
The palm that cups the salt has its own calibration.
Older than the teaspoon and its fractions, the recipe is a translation. And something is always lost between
The languages.
what the hand knows about the dough
Cannot survive the journey into grams.
She learned by standing close enough to feel the heat that rose from her mother's pot onto her face. By the sound
The onion makes when the oil is ready,
by the color that means 5 more minutes.
not a clock.
This is a knowledge that cannot be inherited through paper. It passes only through the body, into body, through the years of standing in
The same kitchen,
until the kitchen enters you and stays. When she is gone, the recipe will be requested, and someone will attempt the faithful reconstruction. We'll measure everything with solemn accuracy and produce something correct and entirely wrong. Because the ingredient that made it what it was had no weight, no volume, no temperature. It was the particular story of those hands moving through that steam for all those years. The ones who ate her food were fed by more than anything that passed between the teeth. They were fed by every morning. She stood there and gave the best of what she had beneath the noise of the world, beneath the taking, beneath the years that asked too much and gave too little. She stirred it all into the pot, regardless, and the pot became the answer to the riddle. The candle does not know it makes a shadow. It only knows the burning and the giving. But behind every light, a darkness doubles and learns the shape of everything still living.
The shadow on the wall is not deception. It is the honest consequence of life. Every flame that stands for something casts an equal dark into the night.
The ones who say they carry only brightness
I've never stood behind their own belief. I've never watched while their conviction darkens in the corner where it offers no relief.
For the candle has no enemies, only physics and the things it cannot reach. And the shadow is not arguing with the candle, it is simply standing in what light cannot teach.
The shadow the candle throws is part of the candle, part of what it means to burn at all. You cannot have the light without its consequence. The shadow and the flame share the same hall. So carry your light with the humility of knowing what it darkens while it shines. Look into the corners of your brightness. Read what your own flame defines.
By absence, by the cold it cannot warm, by the shapes it throws against the wall. The shadow is not something to be conquered, it is the most honest thing about you of all.
The candle that burns down to nothing leaves no shadow, leaves no argument, just a circle of wax where the light stood, and the room returning to what it always meant to be before the flame arrived with its opinions, its warmth, its cost, its long and honest shadow. The candle and its darkness briefly borrowed, both returning to the dark from which they came.
Returning everything to its first argument, before the wood had any other purpose. And in the ash the archaeologist finds not the loss but the inventory of a life. The nail that held the picture, the hinge of the door, the outline of what mattered pressed into the floor.
Everything who walk with a peculiar kind of lightness, not because the loss was small or painless, but because they learn what fire is a witness to the things that do not burn, the memory that lives below the photograph, the love that needs no object to reside in, the love that lost its house but kept the laugh. What the fire kept was never in the buildings, never in the furniture, the frame. What the fire kept was in the ones who carried themselves out into the night, still low, still flame. not destroy a single thought that lived inside the mind of one who read and walked out into the long afternoon and gave what was given to them freely by the page. The book was just a vessel, not the wine, and every vessel sooner or later turns to the fire that made it by design.
So when you feel the losing of your things, sit for a moment with the question of what keeps itself alive without a shelf to rest on. What in you would rise while the rest sleeps into ash, into the honest inventory of what was always yours and always will.
What the fire kept was never in the building. What the fire kept is keeping you still. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
In the righteous life, between the morning prayer and the end strife, between the sacred and the soil on your hand, between the word of Jah and working of the lands. The carpenter who rises before the sun is offering his labor till the day is done, and the elder on her knees in the early light is building something stronger than the tallest height. Hands that build and hands that pray are the same hands at the end of day. Jah sees no difference in the offering made by the worker and the worshipper, both unafraid. Babylon divides the holy from the commonplace, puts the sacred behind a gilded face, sells the spirit wrapped in velvet and in gold, and leaves the working people out in the cold. But the Most High walks the workshop and the field, is present in the hammer, and the yield is in the bread that rises in the early dawn, and in the prayer whisper before it's gone. Hands that build and hands that pray are the same hands at the end of day. Jah sees no difference in the offering made by the worker and the worshipper, both unafraid. Working, Jah blessing,
Never straying,
hands open.
always saying, here I am.
Here I am. So let the mason lay his stone in reverence, and let the farmer plant with holy reference to the one who made the seed and made the ground, and let the singer know that work is also sound. Praise rising from the labor of the faithful few is just as sweet to Jah as any hymn that's true. For the life well lived in service to the whole is the longest prayer ever prayed by any soul.
Hands that build and hands that pray,
Walking through the fire of every single day, no division in the kingdom of the
The mother who worked 2 jobs without complaint. The father who held on past the point of fame. The grandmother who prayed through the night, holding her family up toward the light. These are the prophets history forgets. These are the ones who paid the deepest debts with nothing but their bodies and their will, and the water that they carried up the hill. Honor the ones who carried water through the fire, through the slaughter. Every quiet, faithful act of love is seen and known by Jah above. Water carried, never buried. Every step, Jah tarried. Faithful hands crossing land. Water flowing where Jah stands. So when you lift the cup up to your lips, remember all the journeys and the trip that brought that water to your waiting hands. Through generations, crossing burning lands, you are the fruit of someone's faithful walk. You are the answer to someone's midnight talk, with Jah asking if the sacrifice was worth every drop of water poured upon this earth. Carry the water for the ones behind you now. Pass the vessel forward, this is how. The river of the faithful never runs dry. The ones who carried water never truly died. Their love lives in the water that you drink. Their faith lives in the moments that you think. All is lost, but find the strength to ride. The ones who carried water never said goodbye.
Hear the Zion call, from the east wind blow. Rasta rise, not sleep no more. Dope fire burn, open the door. In on the valley low, where the river run deep, them try to join with vice, but we now we Babylon to a lean, ready for fall. We feet on the rock, answer the call. Them silver drum lie, sweet like homie trap, but we wise like serpent, not take that map. From the Ethiopian throne, the wisdom drop, eration heal, make the cook it straight up. Zion call, answer the call. Jah fire burn the wicked wall. Reggae dub echo to the all. Lion I free, now feed them trial. Zion call, trod Babylon fall. Them pies in the water tight, the pure stream, but we pour from the well, just supreme. No vaccine for soul, only faith vaccine. We body temple clean and serene. Midnight warrior, smoke at the tongue, sing for the voiceless. Battle well won, them chain rust away. Now the sun, Rasta redemption, the chosen one. Zion call, answer the call. Jah fire burn the wicked wall. Reggae dub echo through the all. Lion I free, now feed them trial. Zion call,
Babylon fire.
In harvest we labor, be we crumbs we eat, but we plant own fields and make it sweet. No more beg a bowl, we scan on we feet. Roots strong like seed and not defeat. We children learn the liberty way. Now ya bingy drum teach night and day. From slave ship memory to freedom ray. I and I try lead the way. Science, answer no. Fire burn, burn bright. Free life, free forever. Dog wise word. Trada. Inna the boardroom scheme, them plot we end, but Jah got the plan from begin to blend. We not fight flesh, but spirit contain. Victory show, Jah send them fake prophet preach prosperity gospel. With two word rock make idol topple. One load's current make rivers swell. Rasta fraud liquid it all in all. Zion call, answer the call. Jah fire burn the wicked wall. They get obey go to the eye. I and I free now feed them brass. Zion call, trod Babylon fall. Zion call it, Jah Selassie Zion, Zion, Zion call, Zion call, Zion call, Jah Zion call, Zion call, Zion call, Zion call, Zion call, Zion call, Zion, Zion, Zion call, Zion, Zion, Zion call, Zion call, Zion call. Yeah, the 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 Zion call. Hey, yeah, the Zion call. I and I. Yeah, the Zion call. I and I. Yeah, the Zion call. Yeah, the Zion call. I and I. Yeah, the Zion call. I and I. Yeah, the Zion call. Yep, yeah, the Zion call. 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 Zion call. Yeah, the Zion call. Yeah, the Zion call. Yeah, the Zion call. Yeah, the Zion call. Yeah, yeah, the Zion call. Yeah, the Zion call. Yeah, the Zion call. Zion call. Yeah, the Zion call. Yeah, the Zion call.
Yeah. 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 Crimson sky, sun low, still out, bare feet in the sand. Breathe slow, hearts are my chest, lion in my bones, drumming through my breath. Children chase the phone, elders hum up song. All this living proof, Jah spirit keep we calm. Zion tide I rise up, wash we clean, wash we clean. Every wave of prayer now, carry we in. Liberty in every heartbeat, roots so deep in the sea. Zion tide I rise up, wake we from Babylon's dream. Fire in my eye, still my voice stay low, chanting for the lost who never yet did know. Palms sway like they pray, moon peek through the day. Every grain of sand, hear the words I say. Zion tide I rise up, wash we clean, wash we clean. Every wave of prayer now, carry we in. Liberty in every heartbeat, roots so deep in the sea. Zion tide I rise up, wake we from Babylon dream. I and I call Jah, name in the by and I fall. Humble pun if you feel small, listen to see each little sound, say you are free. Zion tide I rise up, wash we clean.